Welcome back everyone. Today we're looking at the Golf R32 Turbo. If you're new here and haven't seen any other videos of the build, highly recommend you guys go and check them out, as they're great videos and I put a lot of detail into them. Today we're going to look at the fuel pump starvation issue. I'm getting a starvation issue when I'm below half a tank. So what's happening is I'm on boost and I get a sudden cut in power, almost sends me through the windscreen. And the only thing I can think of it is this fuel, because if I'm over half tank, I don't get any issues at all. The car's fuel level at the moment is less than half tank, about where I'd expect it to have these issues. So I'm gonna whip the pump out and I'm gonna check the levels between both sides of the saddle tank to see whether one's lower, because if the pump side's lower than the other side, then that tells me that the radium fuel siphon kit isn't working and it's not sucking enough fuel over, so it's running dry. So that's the first thing I'm gonna check, and then I'm gonna get the pump out and I'm gonna replace the fuel line with some submersible safe line, because the line that I used previously wasn't submersible safe, so that could be causing the issue. I'm gonna whip the pump out, I'm gonna get it on the table, and we're gonna replace the line, and fingers crossed this solves our issue. And I just wanna say, 89% of you guys that watch my videos aren't subscribers. By the end of the year, I want to get to 1,000 subscribers. So do me a huge favor, guys. It's free. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. You guys will be notified every time I drop a new video. So I'm just gonna get the pump out now. I'm gonna get it on the table. I'm gonna replace the lines and get it back in the car and see if that fixes our problem. So guys, here's the fuel pump out of the car. This is the hose I used. So although it's not fuel grade hose, there's no leaks or anything in there, so it seems to have been able to withstand the fuel. One thing I've noticed though is really it has got hard. Like, it used to be flexible, soft stuff, but this is really hard. Maybe the cold fuel or just the fuel sort of has made it a little bit brittle. But I'm going to replace this stuff here with some new hose that I've got, which is submersible safe. So I'm going to replace it with this stuff here to see, just to be sure that everything's good, and then we'll test out the radium siphon pump. But considering that's loose on that nipple there, this doesn't bode well for a good vacuum. So we'll get it changed over to this stuff and that should help. The first thing I needed to do was to remove the piping. It's quite brittle and hard, so it's a bit difficult to get off the nipples. As you see, I've had to cut the pipe with the standing blade because it's quite brittle, can't just pull it off. This is quite a tedious job, so just take your time and not damage anything. So that's as far as I can get this pipe onto here. It's on there by about a good centimetre, and there are barbs there as well. So I can't get it any further down. This fitting here is actually bigger than the other fittings. So, you know, I can't really use a bigger pipe here to then use a smaller one up here. As you can see here, guys, I am putting the fuel level sender back together, which goes into the back of the fuel cage. Now the sender is back on, I can start fitting the rest of the pipes to the top of the carrier. I've just finished up fitting the feed pipe. I'm now working on the return from the filter. So the return comes in from the filter through the radium siphon kit, which then sucks the fuel from the other side of the saddle tank into the tank with the pump in, so the levels will remain equal and hopefully doesn't starve out the fuel pump. I'll explain a bit more detail about this up close in a second. And there we have it, guys. So the pump pushes into this pipe here, which comes out this exit here, and then it goes to the fuel filter. When it gets to the right pressure, the fuel filter returns it to this one, which then returns it down this line into the radium siphon, and then when it causes a Venturi effect, so this side is plugged to the other side of the tank, so it's sucking fuel down there with the fuel that's coming in from the filter, and then this bit here needs to be submerged underneath fuel, so it doesn't suck air back up. Maybe, you know, one day, maybe if this doesn't fix the problem, I'll get a like a non-return valve or something. So that's how it works. When I was playing around with the pipes, these were spinning on all the nipples, every nipple. It was just sort of like rotating, so it obviously wasn't creating a seal. I think that might be our problem. Maybe when it gets to half tank, one of the seals just lets air in or something. But with this on there, with this pipe on there now, there's no slipping there, and it's an airtight seal. So let's see how it goes. Let's get it plumbed back in. So guys, I've just come back from a test drive after putting the fuel pump back in. It's still getting fuel starvation. I don't know what the problem is. Both sides of the tanks are even, so the jet pump is working. So I don't think it's that. I can't seem to figure out why it's doing it. But if you guys know, please put a comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are. If you guys have had that sort of similar problem before, what I think I'm going to do is actually get a new basket for the pump, because I've battered that basket trying to fit the Warbro pump in, and get an OE style pump. So this is the original one that came from the Golf R32, and this bit here is the key bit. This is what sucks the fuel from the other side of the tank. So I need to get a pump with this jet pump in it already. So I think SideTech do one, AEM do one, Bosch, loads of places do them, because loads of cars have saddle tanks. So I'm going to get one that's a direct drop in, and I'm going to get a new canister, you know, cage or whatever you want to call it, fuel sender, and be done with it. And fingers crossed that fixes my problem. I can't be running around only doing half a tank. I mean, I get like sometimes less than 100 miles out of half a tank, so you know, it's not enough range to really call it reliable. I've got to start using the car in the new year to drive to work and back, so I need to be able to at least run down to a quarter of a tank safely. So it's got to be sorted, and the only way I can think of doing it is a new cage and a new OE style pump. But guys, let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions, or maybe know what's causing the issue with the fuel pump. Maybe you've had a similar thing. I don't want to go about fitting any surge tanks or anything like that, so because I want it to be essentially daily drivable, and also, you know, I don't want fuel tanks sitting in the boot. So, you know, I want a drop-in style pump that's going to sit in the tank like an OE style. So guys, thanks very much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. I guess you're trying to